Hey everybody, welcome back to 1776 or Bust. Tonight I'm going to do another review on a pistol that I own. In this case it's going to be a Smith and Wesson M&P 9 full size. I have to tell you, this is about the probably 15th video I've tried to record tonight. I actually started a new system of recording because I improved my camera, or at least I thought I did. And I came to realize that after setting everything up and moving things around, the microphone that I have on now won't work for that camera because it's not a battery powered microphone. So after 15 attempts I decided to say screw it, and I went back to my old Sony Action Cam, which is what I'm using right now. The video quality seems to be okay, I just don't like the fisheye look around the lens here. So I apologize for that. Hopefully I can improve that in the next couple of days here, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully most people will not care and keep subscribing to the channel. Now, getting back to the background story on this M&P, this is a new purchase that I made. I actually traded pistol in and picked this one up, and I got a really good deal on it from my local gun shop that I tend to go to, and if I have his card I'll show you, but I don't think I do. I might have thrown it somewhere, who knows, my table's a disaster. But it is Wallkill River Small Arms. It's a great store. Frank Reese is the owner, great guy, always willing to work a deal with you. Actually, here's his business card. And he's local, and he's not a big company and like Gander Mountain or something like that. Getting back to the pistol, it is a new purchase. I owned an M&P full size a couple of years ago, and I have to say it was probably the worst pistol I've ever owned in my entire life. It just, for me, didn't work. I tried to shoot it several times. I could not seem to get a good, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess good accuracy out of it. So after several attempts and after different pistol holds on the gun itself, different points of impact or different points of aim, I just could not seem to get that gun to work for me. So I wound up selling it and saying goodbye to Smith and Wesson. Was not happy with it. I swore I would never buy another Smith and Wesson again. Went out and bought a Shield, duh, and I wound up selling that too, but that's a whole nother story. And then I went back and got another full size. Now, the reason why I went back to the full size was because apparently Smith and Wesson in the past couple of years had been addressing some of the issues that they were having on their pistols. One of those being the lack of efficiency on the range, in other words, the lack of accuracy. Another being the trigger. Most people were getting Smith and Wesson M&Ps. Even the Shields are actually going out and updating the trigger, or upgrading the trigger, I should say, with an Apex trigger kit system. Depending on a duty carry or something like that, but most people were adjusting those triggers because they didn't like the slop in the trigger. Now, my first M&P, probably the worst trigger I've ever had on any pistol, and again, that was another reason why I can attribute maybe it wasn't me that was not able to shoot the gun, that maybe it was just the gun itself. They also upgraded the internals of this gun now, so the trigger bar and the trigger system inside is a little bit thicker steel. You can see it is a little bit more robust. I'll pull that out in a moment or two. And also, of course, they fixed the twist on the barrel. They went from, I think it was a 1 in 75 twist. And again, don't quote me on that, it's probably wrong. And now I believe it's a 1 in 10 twist, which apparently is the standard for most pistols on the market. So I'm hoping, because since I haven't shot it yet, I don't know, but I'm hoping that this pistol will be much, much more accurate than the first one I owned. Basic facts about the pistol you see before you, before I unholster it. This one came with two 10-round magazines, your standard 3-dot sights, no fiber optics, no night sights. They have the steel, low profile on the rear, and also steel on the front as well. I've already changed those sights out. I always change my sights unless they've come from factory with night sights or a good set of sights. But in this case, I've already changed them out to a pair of Hackathorns, and I'll show those to you in a moment. Again, the trigger pull is recorded around 6.5 pounds. I would say it's about 6 pounds, 6.5. That's about accurate to me. It feels like a very good Glock trigger. In this case, when I show you the trigger, you'll hopefully see that the trigger has improved greatly in regards to the reset and even the trigger pull. I'm very, very happy and pleased with what I've dry fired so far with this pistol. The overall length is 7.5 inches. You have a choice of 3 different back straps, a small, medium, and large. The one that you see in front of you here, this is actually the large, and I also have a medium and FDE, but I'll talk a little bit about more of that in a moment. The material that it's created out of, they call this the Zytel polymer frame. It's also a stainless steel barrel, stainless steel slide, and also the structural components inside. The slide itself is not coated with melanite or anything. It's just a black coating on it. I'm not exactly sure if there's a name for it, but it is a stainless steel slide, so it is heavily corrosion resistant, and that's always a good thing. Overall height, 5.5 inches. The width is 1.2 inches, and the sight length is 6.4 inches. Your weight, and of course that's empty, which this is right here, is 24 ounces. So it's actually lighter than the XD Mod 2 subcompact, and of course the Sig Sauer, which are both weighing in at 26 ounces without any rounds in. So really quick on the pistol. It has been safety checked before I made the video, and since I've made this video about 15 times prior to this, I've safety checked it now a 16th time. So it is safe. Just going through the pistol itself, you can see that I've added some FDE stuff on here. Again, I'm a big fan of FDE, so I went out and went on eBay and found the magazine release, the backstrap, and also the tool that comes in here. So I went FDE with those parts because I did try to get an FDE M&P, but there just didn't seem to be any in my neck of the woods. So I went with the black, knowing that I could always adjust it, and it doesn't look too bad. I think it looks kind of cool just with slight FDE on it, so I do like the way it looks. In regards to some of the other things I've done, you can see that I did the yellow on here, very similar to what I did on my XD as well. Again, I do this just for me. This isn't to make anybody out there happy or sad or angry. This is just something that I like doing on all my pistols. It makes it a little bit more personalized for me, and it doesn't cost me any money because all I have to do is go out and buy a cheap bottle of nail polish and put it on there. So yes, it's nail polish. In regards to the trigger is a heck of a lot better than what it was. The trigger pull is it's a stiff trigger pull, but it is a clean, crisp trigger pull, and the reset is probably the best reset that I've felt on any Smith and Wesson that I've owned. So I'm very, very happy, like I said, with that. In regards to some of the features of the pistol, you can see you do have a window here to check to see if there is a round actually in the chamber. Again, if you're not aware if there's a round in there or not, I always say drop the mag, rack the slide back, and make sure that there's nothing in there. But that's, again, safety issues. Again, you have ambidextrous slide releases on both sides, so that's a good thing that you're not seeing on a lot of pistols that I've pointed out before in some of my other videos. You also have the ability to switch out your magazine release, which is nice. Again, making the controls ambidextrous. Well, I guess you can't say this is ambidextrous, but you can definitely change it over for the left-handed shooter. The takedown lever is only on one side. Again, you cannot switch that over, but to me that's not a big issue. You're not going to be using a takedown lever when you're shooting your gun, so that's not a big deal. In regards to the sights, like I said, it came with 3 dot white sights. In this case, I put on a set of Hackathorns with the black in the rear, and of course the bright orange with the night sight in the front. Very happy with these sights. Just the vision on the gun is so much better with these than some of the other sights that I own. This is the first set of Hackathorns that I've ever had, and these are from Ameriglow, but I get a feeling that from now on I'll be getting these for all my pistols. I'm very, very happy and pleased with the way it looks on the gun and with the aim that I get from it so far. But again, I haven't shot it, so I couldn't tell you. In regards to the slide, again, a nice satiny finish. Again, not melanite, just a black coating over stainless steel, but they did a really good job. The finish is really, really good on this. No markings, nothing on it. You can holster it a million times. I've holstered it now in this Kydex, probably going on a few hundred times, just practicing drawing and putting my pistol back, and so far no markings on the slide, so that's really good. In regards to the trigger, I'll just show you that really quick. Again, a little bit of take up, which is very common on most of our pistols that we get today in today's market, but it's not a heck of a lot. And again, a very solid wall. Once you get to that wall, that's it. I mean, that is one hell of a clean break on this gun. I'm very, very happy with this trigger. This is probably a much better trigger than on my XD. It's a much better trigger than on most of the other pistols that I've tested and have had. Is it as good as the Sig and let's say the PPQ or the P99? It's not as good as those, but it's pretty darn close. I'm very, very impressed with this trigger. The reset, that's it. And you can hear that click. It is a slight tactile feel. It's not overbearing. It's not a very strong tactile feel, but you can still feel it. So that's a good thing. So you won't have to go searching or hunting. Once that reset hits play, there is absolutely no play in that trigger. You're right at that wall, and that trigger breaks again. So I mean, this is a very impressive trigger on this new M&P that I bought. I'm, again, extremely happy about it. I have nothing to complain about at this point. But again, I won't know officially until I shoot it. Once I've shot it, I'll give you a range report and let you know how that did. Again, to take it down, very standard. You have your takedown lever here. You basically just push that takedown lever down. Now, here's the interesting thing. On some M&Ps, they have a mag release disconnect. So when the magazine's out, you cannot pull the trigger. The trigger won't go bang. And that's kind of a thing that I don't like. You know, I feel like if you're ever in an issue or a situation where you have to pull the trigger and the magazine falls out, you know, with that magazine disconnect, it kind of puts you in a really bad spot. Now, what are the realities of that? Is that on a gun, you should be able to easily check that gun to make sure it's not loaded. And if you're either that lazy or unfortunately maybe don't have the cognitive ability to figure that out, then you probably shouldn't be a gun owner. So in my opinion, those are two things that I don't like on this pistol. Unfortunately, this pistol was sold to me with both of those features. What does that really mean for me now? Nothing, because I actually removed them. I removed the yellow bar, or the yellow pull down bar, and also the spring that would not allow you to pull the trigger when the magazine was out. So I got rid of both of them, and now to take it down, it's unloaded, so all you do is pull the trigger and the slide comes off. So it was a really easy thing to do. It took me probably, you know, 10 minutes to do it, and I'm not a gunsmith by any means, but if you're not happy with those features, there's a ton of YouTube videos out there that will explain how to do it. I dare not do a video on how to do that because I'd probably screw it up, so I decided to just do it on my own. Again, in the inside, you can see here that a lot of the pieces here are a little bit thicker, a little bit beefier on this side. So I really think what they did here was give it the ability to really have a nice reset and a better trigger. So I'm very happy, like I said, with that. And we'll see how it fires next week. But everything works. Everything looks good. You've got your steel rails in the front. You've got your steel rails in the back, and that's always a bonus. A lot of people like having those that steel in there. I'm not a fan either way, but I like it, and I think it's a good feature to have. The insides, you basically have a single coil or a single spring with a stainless steel guide rod, which is a very nice feature. Again, most guns are going with the polymer, but in this case it's a stainless steel one, and that's a very good thing, I believe. Again, the barrel, nice job with the barrel. Again, it is a polished feed ramp. Is it? Let me see if I can get that in the camera for you. It's hard to see. I don't have very good lighting in here, but you can tell that this is polished. The slide itself, nothing too tricky in there. This looks like about just every other pistol that I own, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about that because, again, you know, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. So again, very nice looking gun inside, very clean. You can see even the finish on the inside is nice and satiny, so it looks really nice. Can't wait to get this thing shot and start to, you know, make. And there you go. Oh, no, I actually screwed that up. Hold on, let me see what I did here. I got my guide rod in. Let me see, what did I do? There we go. Just had to kind of line it up a little bit better. That's my fault, no big deal. You drop your lever again, put it back into battery, and boom, you're ready to go. So again, everything looks really nice. You know, I've always liked the M&P, how it's held in the hands or how it's felt in my hands. I like the fact that you've got a pretty good low bore axis on here. Obviously it's not as high as the XD, but I would say it's comparable with the Glock. It's definitely lower than the PPQ and the P99, but I do like it. I think it's a very nice looking pistol. I think it fits your hand really well. The ergonomics are good. I don't know if I'm going to leave the large palm swell on here. I might actually go to the medium. This one feels a little beefy in the back. You know, the PPQ or the P99 has a little bit more of a hump back here, whereas the hump actually is more here. But again, doesn't feel horrible. I'll find out more when I shoot it. In regards to the release of the magazine, again, shoots it right out. You know, very positive release. Again, I'm a big fan of that. I've mentioned that a few videos before, but I'm very, very happy with everything so far that I've seen on the pistol. So if you're looking for a full-size, you know, service pistol, would I say this would be your #1 choice? Doesn't have to be. I think it's a really good choice. I think some of the things that they've improved upon with this Smith and Wesson has really made this a contender for, you know, just being one of the better polymer striker pistols or striker fire pistols. Would this be my first purchase? Probably not. Right now I'm looking at maybe moving some of my inventory, so to speak, and doing some different things. I've talked about buying a Glock 19 again because I do miss having a Glock, but I'm also looking at potentially maybe going and getting a PPQ with a 5-inch barrel, but I'm not exactly sure. You know, that's just me thinking crazy, but you know, we'll see how it goes. So at this point, there's really not much else I can tell you about the pistol. I'm trying to think really quick just in regards to, again, you've got your Picatinny rails with 3 slots in there. So again, very, very nice job. I mean, Smith and Wesson, I think when they created the M&P, really did well. I think they did even better when they began to change some of the factors that were bothering some of their consumers. So I think that's a great thing, and I have to say for Smith and Wesson, that's a good sign of their customer service and their ability to make their customers happy. So once again, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I'm trying to build the channel, and I can only do that with the help of all of you out there. And hopefully I can follow up some more videos. I have a few in the works right now. I have a couple of things coming down the pipe, which I'm hoping will pan out. I've been in contact with a few companies and a few people on eBay asking if they wouldn't mind if I do some reviews on some of their products. I am trying to, you know, market the channel so that I can get some followers or subscribers, and I'm also trying to get some reviews out there so that these products can be opened out there and be made for the public, so that public can understand that you don't have to pay $100 for a belt or $80 for a holster, because there are some good products out there that are relatively cost effective. So I'm hoping that some of these things will work out. We'll see how it goes, and as always, freedom is never free.